In this video, we're going to be looking at the use of the paw pods. They're probably one of the best sellers from FitPaws in terms of equipment, however, the most difficult piece of equipment to teach. The first video is Tinkerbell, who here is about 18 months old, and she has been practicing these for some time, just in terms of a mental game and limb awareness. So I'm going to show you through the video of how we accomplish the 4 pods, which is quite a challenge for most dogs. Most dogs will really enjoy the paw pods as a mental game, and the limb awareness opportunities here are endless, really. They are just such a great fun activity to do with your dog. So now we're going to watch Batman, who is a little older. However, his limb awareness, I would say, is probably not as good as Tinkerbell's. And we're going to start off with 1 pod. So just placing 1 pod on the floor and asking the dog to interact and rewarding and marking for any contact with the pod, and then build this up gradually. So now you can see that we've added another paw pod here, and we're asking Batman to now place both his feet on individual pods. So now adding a familiar prop to the front feet, so Batman doesn't have to think about his front feet quite as much. And we've covered this in Foundation 1, so the dog should understand front foot targeting fairly well at this stage. Now we're adding a rear foot target, just 1 pod, and asking the dog to find that with his rear feet. And then we're going to continue and add a 2nd pod once we have some success. So really just working on the rear foot targeting here. He shouldn't have to think too much about his front feet. Good time now to mention that it's really important that you consider the dog's form. Obviously we're teaching a new task, so it is going to challenge the dog somewhat, but we are looking for good form. So make sure that the shoulders are nice and straight, that the limbs are in symmetry, and that the back isn't roached. So now we have understanding of all 4 limbs. We're going to continue on and add all 4 pods. Now this might take a little bit of time for the dog to generalise what he's learnt in the other areas, and the pods do tend to move around quite a bit, so the dog's stability is really important here. So continue marking and rewarding good attempts from your dog, and reset frequently so the dog isn't continuing to try and not quite understand what you're asking for. It's also very important that the pods are staying in a symmetrical position, and that your dog hasn't knocked them and that they're now in an impossible position for your dog to find and understand. Remember, we are looking for a nice symmetry and shape, so you might have to reposition the pods quite frequently to achieve this.
Yes, yes, look at you. That's perfect. Good boy. Good boy.
Once you've achieved some stability and understanding with the paw pods, you can be creative and add some of the other elements that you've learnt in your foundation. Here you'll see Batman using a paw lift, and this is quite hard and challenging for the dog. He has to have a good core in order to be able to achieve this. But you have taught it on the flats, so once you've been able to teach the paw pods, you can add such things in. So here I've added a stepping stone fun exercise, which is another take on the paw pods, which I really like. There's some lovely lateral movement here, using the stepping stone sideways, encouraging your limb awareness and some sideways movement, and just having fun with them really. So the opportunities are endless. Keep these sessions short. It's a great mental workout for your dog, but it is challenging.